Just FYI, we're already live streaming because I can't. Not doing it how it has every other time in the past on my laptop. Usually it's this one, but I don't know. We're already live streaming, just FYI. We're already live streaming. I can't turn it off, so, or I may not be able to get it back on. I'm listening. I'm gonna pull up the presentation. I've got, so this is Francis' laptop, and in case for some reason it goes dormant, this is her password.
Thank you. What's their name? Ready to ask me? I know. I was telling a story. I was at a grocery store the other day. Francis, having regular clothes, having a little booty hat. The guy walked by, was like, hey, no, really? I'm just too big to hide.
I can't hear people's love, I can't really love.
Right.
And I think it's hard to recognize people. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there.
Hello.
Any of us misbehave.
Yeah, this is.
Take it.
Yeah, you know, so.
I know, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I know that. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I didn't recognize you.
I'm incognito.
Yeah.
You know her? This is Herman Martin.
Hey, Cynthia Miano.
Okay.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Absolutely. I think you and Sean were gonna come.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then everything kind
I know everything is so.
it's over.
Leave.
Yes. For the record, my girls are not in trouble. We're informational kind of thing.
That's disclaimer.
Yeah, listen, yeah, you know.
This year, something like that. Not be a. But I haven't been invited.
Figured to ask me now, so you could no,
You can always.
and you know, I know, and I've been crazy. Mask sickness is my fifth mask, I'm like, I moved to it at work, and I can sell the plastic and the paper ones. And then if the plastic is dead, I'm like, not nice. And then, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Is Dan gonna be here or is he gonna Zoom us, do you know?
Be on the phone, I think, last I heard.
Okay. Earlier.
Yeah, I didn't even know this was gonna take place here tonight. I was under the assumption we're gonna have our meeting Zooming.
But to be sure to make that clearer.
Yeah, I didn't know, I assumed that since we passed it, that that's the way it would be. I was a little surprised to see that we would have it face to face.
Well, we're authorized to have electronic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Ian.
Yes. Town of James Island and Brayton County Council meeting is hereby called to order. I recognize Councilman Milliken to provide the opening exercises.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll wait for Councilman Olenek to come in. I would like to offer a moment of quiet reflection, if consider the sacrifices of our public safety officers and offer our hopes for their safety and thanks for their services. Thank you. And now, please join me in our pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next we have a public hearing for ordinance 2020-08. And this is an ordinance to establish rental fees for the Pinckney Park Village. Is there anyone here to speak on that? Hearing no one, I call that public hearing closed. So next we'll open the public hearing for ordinance 2020-09, which is an ordinance to establish stormwater fees. No one signed up to speak for it, there's no one here to speak for it, and so speak to it, and so I call that public hearing closed. And so now we move to public comment, and we have no one signed up for public comment. We will go on to our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. And so now we go to information reports. First we go to our finding.
Okay, this is sort of preliminary, we're still accruing, not only income, but expenses. But, this is licenses, Barker May. The lost funds are through April, so we have 200 from that. The drainage improvement project, amount $3,300 for Highland Avenue. $100,000 for, other tourism-related projects is the camping hobbies.
So are there any questions for the finance?
I have a couple questions.
Councilman,
Yes, sorry. In June, we had a miscellaneous, revenue, general fund revenue 3454, what was that?
I have to, I'll
Good.
tell you more, yeah.
Okay. And my other, just a couple more, a couple other questions, the Square credit card.
Yeah.
You said, are we expecting to keep, it looks like it's gotten a little higher since the past couple months?
Well, because we've taken all of our payments have been taken by credit card,
Okay,
so that's why we're higher.
okay, I was just wondering if.
Yeah, once the doors are open, we have been taking a little bit of cash and a little bit of checks, but it's much higher because everything.
Okay. I just didn't know if we was getting to that time where we need to get like a standard credit card machine, that would be less.
I think it's actually the cheapest there, I mean,
Okay. Yeah, that was just,
yeah.
that was the only thing I had.
But you know, it's more expensive when you actually type in the number instead of sliding the card. So we've been doing for that.
Yeah, it definitely is more that way. The Reed Valley Road and the hospitality tax, it looks like we're significantly over budget on that one.
Right, we have not received, well, we have received some of them now, some reimbursements from the other areas.
Okay, so this is what we're waiting
Right.
on, and that number.
Right.
Okay, cool, awesome. And then my last one, my last question, the 22-27 for, I can't remember, what was the, to the full letter.
That one's been utilities,
Okay.
But, you know, anything we now say in there.
Okay, cool. That was it. Thank you very much.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, we can go on to the administrator's report, Ashley.
Yeah, so following our, the town special meeting we had regarding the face coverings, our town staff, both our code enforcement officer, building officials, they split up, and visited all of our working order businesses, with the flyer that we created for them, kind of going over, what was required. And, you know, we have since sort of collected emails, as we did that, kind of updating our email, list for all of our town businesses, and then following up with them. I spoke with James today, and he has, so far, since this was enacted, received 4 complaints, on businesses where employees weren't, the complaint was that employees were not wearing face coverings, but after visiting each business, he did not find that was the case. So we're continuing to follow up on those. Let's see, so we did close on the North South Hazard Mitigation property on the 2nd of July. So that property is now ours, and I have already processed that reimbursement with FEMA, to get 75% of that cost back. We haven't received it yet. Our traffic calming for the Clearview, Eastwood, Styles, and Sooner, we've actually already marked out the locations with the contractor for those. And as soon as the signs come in for that project, they'll get started. Let's see, we had a virtual meeting with James Water Task Force Quality, and they're actually going to go over that in our governmental meeting next week. More in depth of the task force. We have part of the Charleston County Community Services Board. I represent the town on that, and they approved the 2nd round of CARES funding. So Jamestown Outreach has actually received a big bit of that, and it's kind of doling it out for folks that are eligible to help them offset rent and utility costs. And then the alternatives for the intersection improvement project, the Fort Johnson Succession Bill, that's been advertised for public comment. That's going to last for about 60 days. So in lieu of having a public meeting, Charleston County Transportation decided to do it that way. We've advertised it, and we'll continue to do that. Social media are pretty much where that's been advertised.
And you know when that expires?
It started last week for 60 days, so. Okay.
So the next door, Facebook.
Yeah, website, and we'll continue to try to maybe push that out and kind of keep it current before we would meet notice. That's all I have.
Any questions for the town administrator? Thank you very much. Public work report.
Okay, in June, there were 9 new requests for service. 8 were drainage related. Staff responded to all requests. Staff participated in quarterly SCASA meetings virtually, and that went very well. We're going to do third quarter that way as well. Hopefully, by the fourth quarter, we'll get to meet and in Columbia and maybe get some partnership for lunch. Staff discussed adding features to the GeoThink platform for stormwater asset management. Staff made improvements and performed maintenance on the walking path at Kennedy Park. Staff participated in pre-construction meeting for this year's CTC road resurfacing project. Just an aside of that, we are getting Linwood neighborhood done and Fort Sumter road resurfaced. If they have extra money this year, they'll be doing something if they have extra. Staff met with residents on Highland Avenue, Stantec, to explain the proposed easements and drainage project there. Staff participated in a pre-construction meeting for drainage work related to Bishop Gaston Medical Complex on Camp Road. Staff participated in a virtual meeting to kick off the stakeholders committee for James Island Creek Water Quality. Monthly stormwater managers met by teleconference. Staff 23 signs in June, installed 2 new stop signs and and 8 new street name signs. Staff also filled 3 potholes with 6 bags of material.
Any questions for the board?
Yeah, I have a question. Mark, about training with the geotech, are you guys putting together any time when staff could get training and perhaps people on the tree council?
Not at this time. We're trying to get the nuts and bolts worked out on this next phase of using geotech, and then we'll have some staff training.
Okay,
If y'all want to have it now, we can talk to them about
okay, all right. If you could get me their contacts, I appreciate it.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we just had the kickoff meeting with them this week or last week.
Last week was the kickoff meeting. This week, the engineers all met and basically got it down into the weeds of what exactly we wanted as far as asset management.
Right. And trees are assets too, so we need to figure out that later. So that would be good. That'd be great. I also want to thank you, Mark, for your rapid response to our special request for getting Honeysuckle Lane into consideration of the paving project. I received a letter from a 9-year-old boy who was tired of getting his knees skinned up, requesting that they do something about Honeysuckle Lane. And I gave the letter to Mark, and Mark talked to the county people right away. So that's really a nice thing. So thank you for that. You're welcome.
Thank you. Next we'll go to Island Sheriff. Island Sheriff Patrol.
Right, hello, everyone. Glasses there, so I can see, you know. I recognize it. For the month of June, the stats were low due to COVID. The crime is down. No new violent crime, and deputies doing a great job with the community. Total stops, 314. Total hours, 474. Tickets written, 52. Warnings written, 293. Calls for service, 74. Field use, 10. 3 arrests. Arrests were one drug arrest and 2 DUIs.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go on to a request for approval, and our first item is the Regera Road sidewalk construction documents permitted and bid. So I guess actually we're speaking that a bit, but.
Yes, we have water cabinets and Herb Dillon here with Johnson Lasher and Associates. They're gonna first go over the conceptual. Yeah.
Most of this, or this?
You know.
Well, thank you for having us here tonight. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the Regatta Road sidewalk, and it doesn't say that on the slide, but we're also going to talk about the Neighbors Road, a concept possibly for Neighbors Road or a project going forward for neighbors. It's not going anywhere. Let's just go with it. Okay. Next slide. So the town authorized JLA to have a survey completed and develop a design concept, and that's what we're showing you here tonight. After completing the survey and walking the site, we proposed a concept for the new sidewalk on the north side of Regatta. You can kind of see it, it's on the top outside bend of the road. There are already sidewalks on Grand Concourse and Foxcroft, Stillwater Drive, and the existing sidewalks are concrete. There's about a 3 to 4 foot strip between the curb and the sidewalk where they're located already. So we kind of took our clue for the concept plan to follow that, general geometry. So these are some examples, features in the road right-of-way that we had to consider when we developed our concept. And we'll address these in the final design, but they're mailboxes. We actually have some slopes in Harbor Woods. There's sections in grade change, which is kind of unusual for our area. We've of course got storm drain manholes, and there's some existing trees that we're trying to do our best to work around. In fact, in our concept, we're only showing one tree removal at this point in time. Yes.
Is that a ground tree?
No, it's actually a Bradford pear that's in decline. And while we were out there walking, the neighbor came out and said, "Would you please take this tree down?" So I don't think there'll be any objection to that.
All right, thank you.
These are three sections, three sketches that show kind of the different way we would meander the sidewalk through the neighborhood. Again, this is 5 feet wide with a 3 foot separation from the back of curb. There, as I said earlier, there are yards that slope somewhat steeply. So in the middle concept, we're showing that we would kind of level the sidewalk out, but have a maximum of a 3-to-1 slope back behind the sidewalk, and that would be something that the neighbor could maintain just like they're maintaining now with a lawnmower. It's not too steep. We identified other areas where there are utilities and vegetation that would warrant an alignment closer to the road, and in that far right concept, we've got the sidewalk right up against the back of the curb. We've not very many places that we have to do that.
That's your light. I'm having a hard time seeing, and I didn't bring my glasses, so I apologize to everyone. Thank you. Can you still see okay?
Yeah, I can see, I'm fine. So in one area, we've actually got some trees closer to the edge of the road, and we're proposing to try to meander around those trees, but we also don't have enough room for slope. So we would propose a small, short block retaining wall at that location. We were also tasked with coming up with a preliminary cost. So this is based on projects that we've done recently, depending on when we did it and when the climate would, or what the bidding climate was at the time, the competition, that price could change. But generally, including some contingency and including engineering fees, we're looking at a total project cost of about $252,000 for an estimate. This map just shows the jurisdictional limits for the project. So remember, the project is on the outside of Regatta. The yellow color here is all the town of James Island, and the pink is the city of Charleston. So this project only has 2 lots, really 1 lot if you're on that side of the road, that are adjacent to the project that are not in the town. So this is the last slide I had for the Regatta Road concept. If you want to ask questions about this before we go on to neighbors, or I can go on to neighbors either way.
Any questions about the Regatta Road project?
I do. So you're just gonna have one small retaining wall just around, like, it's not gonna be a whole bunch of retaining walls?
No, it's not.
Right. But there's gonna be some slope with the other sidewalk, is that correct?
The sidewalk, I mean, generally, longitudinally, the sidewalk will be, you know, I mean, it'll slope, it has to slope a little bit because we have to try to meet driveways,
Yeah.
and the
No,
grade
I
is
mean,
still.
The
Cross
yards,
slope?
yards sloping down, are you gonna have a lot of that?
It's really limited to, I think, 2 or 3 lots, really.
Okay. I live there, so I walk a lot
Right.
around there, and I've seen some of the sidewalks where they have like slope, and there's always debris that washes down over the sidewalk, so I was just making sure that wasn't, you know what I mean, and then you lose half the sidewalk with dirt.
So,
debris.
right, so we had included in our estimate sod to go back to try to stabilize any areas that are disturbed outside the concrete.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
So are some of the, pink properties, those are city properties?
Those are city
Is the
properties.
sidewalk in that, construction area? Is that gonna be part of the,
It's gonna be in the right of way. And the way it works out, it will go from town right of way to the city right of way.
right, is this,
Depending on what it's adjacent to. So we'll have to coordinate with the city, but it'll all be on public property. We're not paying anything on private property.
that's very good. So is the city gonna kick in a little bit of money for this sidewalk project, since they will also benefit from it?
I would ask them, we would glad to have the argument educated.
Perhaps we can ask them,
That's right.
Mayor Wilson?
Certainly, though, now, perhaps I'm wrong, but the section where the sidewalk is going is between Harbor Town and Neighbor, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the Neighbors is at the very top of this, is that correct?
Right. So the only,
So look at how much is yellow in that area, and there's only one lot that is in the city. Though certainly, asking them is worthwhile.
when I show you neighbors, it's gonna be a lot more varying jurisdiction in there.
Councilman Milliken, there's like one, two, there's a bunch of pink ones up at the top, right?
Right.
We're not going down there. That's the part of Regatta that goes past Neighbors and goes on to the new
Okay,
Harwoods. And so at least this project, we're not going down.
so really it is only one city lot on this
Yeah.
project.
But
Is that a
I'm sure to
consideration?
ask that doesn't mean that we can't ask, Councilman Jackson about a little contribution. Yes, we'll get to Neighbors.
Yeah, I'll hold this until we get the neighbors. Thank you, sorry.
Sounds like we're ready to go on to neighbors. So this is the area of neighbors that we looked for a sidewalk, in relationship to Regatta. Regatta was about 1,300 feet of sidewalk, and this gap on neighbors is about, 2,150 feet of sidewalk. There is a small portion of sidewalk out in front of the, daycare center that's on the corner of Quail Drive, and it goes all the way to the driveway at the Harborview Shopping Center, but then there's no sidewalk the rest of the way.
And we haven't surveyed this.
That's right.
This is always going to look at from this perspective. We haven't.
So we did go out there, we did briefly walk the area just to look at what some of the challenges are gonna be out there. The picture on the left shows a small piece of sidewalk in front of the daycare center. Most of the road for the length has open swales on both sides, and they vary in depth. There are a number of utilities and mailboxes and things that we have to work around, and also drainage. There is a little bit of curb at the intersection of Neighbors and Regatta, but like I said, most of the rest of the street has open ditches. And here's the jurisdictional map for Neighbors. So the pink is the city of Charleston again. The yellow or orange yellow is the town of James Island. And then there are some properties, I believe I counted 8, that are unincorporated in Charleston County, and they're gray.
That's what we call it.
So we
That
think,
area, I'm sorry, Laura, in that area right there, in those county areas near Cecilia Cove, that floods pretty bad there. When it rains, we get a good amount of water. And one of my concerns is going ahead and spending money on a nice sidewalk and then having to dig it up if we have to do a drainage improvement project, which is needed in that particular location. Is there an order of operations here that we might be able to address some of the drainage issues prior to constructing the sidewalk?
I would say we're gonna have to really look at drainage along Neighbors because of the open because of the open ditches. It may require piping a number of those ditches, and certainly that would be a good time to also look at the connectivity and whether there are things that need to be enhanced, improved, grades improved so you can get drainage.
Yes, this
It'll be a good time to look at
your
that.
studies,
Because we haven't even started, that's what I was saying, we haven't even started the survey, so you talk about order of operation. The first thing we would do is do a very detailed topographic and feature survey. And it's good for us to know that it anticipates the drainage issues, so we will expand the survey up so that we can see where the drainage pipes go and things like that. Very rarely does a sidewalk job, happen that you'll get under a drainage project too. The thing that's a little, we don't know is, are we gonna have enough room without getting into curb and gutter? You know, because it's so tight in there, it's that you got the ditches, if we get into curb and gutter, it can really raise the cost. So that's why this next step is gonna be really critical to get that survey.
Councilman Milliken, the giant
Sometimes you
sign
have to.
is actually in that pink area.
Oh, yeah, you got that such limited life when it requires you to do a curb.
Go up the guy, and it's, you know, then it ends on the woods.
That's right.
And it's little right, these houses are perfect. And that's the drainage part, and there's no real drainage.
So is this the kind of project we could get a partnership with the county and the city on here?
So, one reason why I would like to pursue this is, Councilman Jackson very considers this a priority. And so I think definitely that, you know, I would expect as the process goes forward, we would have a partnership with the city. If, you know, that partnership could mean that we will get city support in seeking TSP, CTC funding, paying the whole thing. But rather than them, you know, in the last few years, Mayor Tecklenburg has pushed to get some money, city money for our sidewalks. And perhaps some of that could come just too. But anyway, yes, I'm very interested in a partnership with the city and, you know, working towards a TSP or CTC funding for what I expect to be very expensive project.
So how much is the survey aspect of this going to cost, or is that not here?
Yeah, that's
We actually asked us to look into it, and we use a contract person that we have done all our survey for Dave Allen, and it's right at between $9,500 and $10,000 for the survey. How, you know, it's a lot of traffic control and everything.
Yeah,
This is tough.
every driveway, every culvert, there's just a lot of stuff in that right of way.
Thank you.
So the product, I mean, you know, I guess usually what we do with these projects is we have a conceptual plan, which is what you've already done for Regatta. So what's presented to us for Regatta is a conceptual plan, which we basically already paid for in the biggest budgets. And then tonight, Regatta Road, we're going to the next step of preparing for design, detailed design, so that we bid out, actually do construction. And as you heard, you know, what they're asking for us to pay for Regatta is, you know, the $22,500 to get it ready, like $250,000 construction project. And usually with these projects, once we get ready to get to that stage, that's when we start looking for CTC or TSP funding for the new project. And so I'm interested in, I think we should go forward with a expensive, admittedly, project for a conceptual plan for our neighbors. And I think once we have that in hand, we will be able to do better in the next steps, getting support from the city. But we can ask the city to help us with this. I mean, yeah, is that accurate? Or
Yeah.
Yes.
Rest of the process.
Right?
I concur, neighbors definitely need sidewalks. There are a lot of little kids with bicycles, there are a lot of parents with strollers, there are lots of walkers, and there's no place for them to go. And it's a blind curve and you can't really see, and we're lucky no one's been hurt yet. that I know of.
So what are we asking for?
Tonight, you know, on the agenda tonight is a request for approval for the design bidding out, of Madonna. We don't have on the agenda for the conceptual survey costs. It's not to say that we can't, but we do know that the survey is going to be $10,000.
What we would do is, after we get the survey, it would take us time to look at it, and we can make decisions that really impact what the construction will be. But if we try to guess at it now without that survey, you end up finding problems with the survey. So we can very quickly come up with a number to present to Ashley, to get to that conceptual. But again, all we asked for before was just, we went to the survey and say, how much it costs, with $3,500.
I have one more question, I'm sorry, but about the River Road, sidewalk location. I'm very familiar with that road, and we're going from Stillwater up about 2 neighbors. The yards to the left can be a whole lot more level, and the yards on the right, which are neighbors, have a much higher slope. So the more you think about it, I know that it would be connecting sidewalks from Stillwater if you go on that right side, but would it, I'm concerned about the dirt, not staying where it's supposed to. And I don't think this side is going to fix it. Some of those yards are quite steep.
So what I would get at that question or clarify is, did you evaluate the other side of the road?
Yeah.
What are the issues with the other side?
And that's what we did. We just saw that there was a lot more conflicts that we would deal with.
Okay.
And what Laura was showing with those 3 options is what you do is you look at the grades, and then you may have to go off the right of way with some sloping. You call it sloping rights. If we were doing a DOT project, they would get some kind of easement. But what our intent is to show the areas where there is some marginal grade issues. We would recommend going a little bit off and sloping it, making the slope a little more gradual, and then to the side. But then we would have to work with Ashley to go to the public and say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it a nice solid area. It's going to be a little bit less of a slope just to protect that sidewalk.
So you're going up into the people's yards?
Not a lot, it would depend on the grades on each one.
And yes, we built their yard with their provision. So to level it out a little bit, keep it out, planting grass there.
Right.
Is their compensation.
So if you have the more utilities on the other side versus more level, that's.
We just saw there was some plantings and
Okay.
a lot of structure, just trees, things that we made a determination that it would be less of problems. We think the lesser of the evils.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Unfortunately, sometimes it seems like it'd be best to go just get across the road, but that's considered unsafe. Anyway, so I guess what I'm going to ask to have done is that in a future meeting, maybe in August, a proposal for conceptual study. Okay, well, anyway, we have gone through a lot of discussion, presentation, with our motion. Is there a motion to approve this Regatta Road project? Is there a second? Any further discussion or questions? Okay. We should. That's it. So, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Bowles. Councilwoman Liano.
Yes.
Councilman Milliken.
Yes.
Councilman Molinax.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yeah. All right, so that passes. The next on the agenda is sinkhole repair on Regatta. Would you like to speak to that, Ashley?
Actually, Mark, you want to talk about that?
Yes. This is one of those problems that they would encounter on the other side of Regatta. The main drainage for that neighborhood on that side, and we've had a history of problems with the entire neighborhood because it's a corrugated metal pipe, which we know, yes, it's all at the end of its service life. Well, in this person's front yard, it failed and has now caused a sinkhole, which the county has fenced off for safety reasons until we get to go ahead and fix it.
All right, did we have any idea what the cost of that would be?
Yes, the estimate from the county is $4,000, and they're always conservative. So it may not be that much.
All right, is there a motion in favor?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
Okay, how much of the pipe are they replacing?
They're not replacing it, what they're gonna do is digging it up and wrapping it and sealing it that way.
Okay,
So, yeah, I mean, at some point, we're gonna need to dig all of it up or slip line all of it. City replaced the cross line at Regatta and Stillwater Harbor Town a few years ago because that completely failed. And we lived there, you know,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
And that's what's gonna happen with all of that neighborhood. Same thing is happening with Rome.
Excuse me, is this the same location where we're gonna be building the sidewalk?
No, across
That's
the
further down.
street. It's across the street.
Across the street.
Okay, all right, great.
That's
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilman Bowles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brunel? Yes. Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Molina?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. Okay, so that passes. And so next we go to the scope and fee for hazard mitigation project. I ask you to explain that.
Yes, this is the work to get our hazard mitigation project, completed. They would be doing all of the, construction documents, coordinating the demolition, and also, going back and connecting that, green space. This is from Stantec. The estimate they've given us is, I think it was 22,000. That includes some of the asbestos, basically a hazardous materials spec that we have to do, in order to demo the house. DHEC certified and all of that. It's also a survey that needs to happen as well, to get that cost. We did have to budget about $42,000 for this, so, it's a lot less than we, estimated, for FEMA purposes. And we will get reimbursed 75% of the cost.
Okay, is there a motion in favor?
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion?
This is the property that is in.
Yes,
Okay.
More so. All right, here we go for the discussion. Please call the roll.
Councilman Bowles?
Yes, sorry.
Councilwoman Young?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Molina?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. Okay, next, we have the IGA between town, city, county, RV, for Rethink Colorado Road Program Manager. Ask you, would like to explain that?
The original IGA was just for 1 year. In order for Tool to keep working, the Rethink Poly Group, we need to re-engage them for another year. Charleston County has already engaged them for the life of 3 years. And so their funding has already been approved. The city, they're on different fiscal years, so they actually have approved funding through December. And Folly Beach has approved funding, or they plan to approve funding. They've gone to a quarterly budget right now because it's, that they've got, their funds allocated in their budget as well. So there are no changes in this agreement that we had last year. It's a 30-30-30 split of the city, county, and us, and then 10% for the each.
All right, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. Okay, any further questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, will you call the roll?
Councilman Bowles?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman DeMello?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Molina,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. So that passes. Okay, so now we'll go to the scope and fee from tool design group for the repaint body.
Yeah, so part of the agreement, the reason we're basically voting on this again is the town manages the contract for all of the jurisdictions. So this is, their contract is with us for the full amount, and we reimbursed for the other jurisdictions. So the first vote was the IGA, this is the actual scope of fee.
Those in favor? Is there a second? Any discussion?
Yeah, I've been pretty happy with the tool group's input here. I'm not as happy with the Repent Valley Road Committee, and it'd be great to get some more regular citizen stakeholder participation on that committee. By citizen stakeholders, I mean people that live on Oak Point or Brantley Road, or, you know, someplace that maybe runs parallel, like Bradford to Polly Road. Get some citizens that live along that corridor that have a vested interest in seeing how it progresses. It seems that the committee is made up primarily of a lot of people with development interests at heart. And it'd be good to get some residents participating in the process. That being said, I've been real happy with the tool group. They did a pretty fair job of doing a survey about the hotels. They did a good job of presenting the pros and the cons of hotels. So I thought that was reasonable. And I thought it was real nice to include a local business on Folly Road and sort of their fact-finding, data gathering mission at Martin's Barbecue. That was very nice. So I'd be all for keeping the tool career because I think they're doing a good job.
Any further discussion? Hearing none,
Councilman Bowles?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeMello?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Molina,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
yes. That passes. So now we go to the award of RFP 3/2020 for professional auditing services. Would you like to explain that?
Yes, the evaluation, we solicited for a new auditing firm. We've been with Wilson Court for a while. They recently merged with another company. And they were eligible to submit, which they did. We had 5 firms solicit their proposals, and the evaluation committee scored them independently, and the top 2 we interviewed. And we all felt that Love Haley would be the best fit for us. Their experience with online QuickBooks, their fee not only for the actual audit, but for a comprehensive annual financial report, which is an additional report that we may like to do in Monday after, was also we thought was.
Well, let's go ahead. I mean, you want to have a next question, or let's go ahead and.
Sure.
Approve.
Okay.
Not going to be.
Motion to approve what? A particular firm? Because the discussion I had is not to approve this particular firm. I wanted to make some points about some of the other firm.
Well,
Our agenda item says our board of RFP.
So I move that we approve this. Is there a second? All right, now, Councilman Bill.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed because the ratings came out clearly in front with Birmingham as the leader in the rating scores. And I thought that that was probably a firm that was more closely aligned by having experience in dealing with towns more our size. All right. I thought that Love Bailey was a good package as well, but they really dealt with towns that were much smaller than us, like not even having a website so that you can see what the product of their audit may have been. So that wasn't something I was able to own about that particular firm. Their price is comparable with Birmingham. And I just think that Birmingham, by virtue of the fact they've done Genesee and Lexington and West Columbia and the James Island PSD, which I think would also be useful by using the same auditor who understands our sharing agreement with the PSD and having a way to account for the flow of cash from us to the PSD. So it just seems to me from simplicity, look at it, they were rated higher than all the other firms by all their committee. And then they also seem to be more similar in what they do to what our needs are. So that's why I'm making a case for grading them over what they do. So I would offer an amendment to the motion that we consider grading them as our professional auditing service rather than Love Bailey.
Is there a second? So this is basically a substitution, bringing it for a Love Bailey. Any further discussion?
I have a question. Brigham, does Brigham do the auditing for the busy right now?
Yeah,
Is there any reason that would be considered a conflict if they were for the town and PSD?
that I'm not aware of.
Would be a conflict of interest
So,
for you?
I guess it's possible, but I don't believe it. At least we didn't, we were aware that, as the process went forward, and that they applied, and they were in one of the groups we evaluated. We didn't feel there was a conflict of interest, but I suppose we could ask our town attorney if he has any notion as to whether that would be a
I don't think it would be a conflict of interest.
Thank you.
So I think, I was on the committee, and I think that Birmingham would be good, and I think everyone on the committee thought they were, positive views. We were in the interview process, especially the staff person that's going to be doing working directly with the auditor was more persuaded by the familiarity and the expertise of the Love Group with QuickBooks Online. So we've switched from regular QuickBooks to QuickBooks Online in the last year. And so that was an important issue in my mind. After something that we really didn't ask in detail, but when we got to that point, we just seemed to be more clear. And I'm sure that Birmingham could do that. I think
Birmingham 10 points higher than Love Bailey.
so. The Love Bailey does do work, it just does audits for counties as well as, significant towns like Aspen, which are closer to our size, and Atlantic Beach, and Andrews. Though admittedly, they used to be small municipalities like Neckin.
I would say, even though, and I've spoken with Stephanie this time, Megan, too, and the positive things to say about what they do. I would say, even though Megan thinks that we're smaller than us, their books are very similar to ours because of the revenue, not only the revenue they collect, but also their revenue comes they're similar.
Yeah, I didn't see any examples, so that was the problem. And I kind of looked, didn't find any.
Yes. Any other discussion? So the motion on the floor is basically to adopt predictive approval. Was there any further discussion?
This is, Councilman Bowles, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is Mayor still there?
She is.
Yes.
I know Mr. Mayor has heard comfort with using weapons, well, equippers online. Is there anything else, Maryland, that you can offer or inform us on? Because you are kind of the bookkeeper for the town. Do you have any other insight that you think would be helpful to the vote?
Well, let me say, first of all, the numbers were before we had interviews. Second, I understand what an audit is supposed to do, and that's to find errors. My goal, of course, is to not make errors and not make them for a whole year. So having a resource of someone to call with questions early in the year is really, really important. And the thing that, or important to me, so the thing that Bailey had, in the interview, he gave me the guy's name who I could contact about not only the questions I had specifically, but QuickBooks Online, which anybody's worked with QuickBooks or QuickBooks Desktop, their customer service rates right up there with Comcast and AT&T. They're horrible. So that's what, having a name, having somebody that I knew I could go to early on was the changer in my mind. Brigham was great, but he didn't give me a name, and it was more, yeah, I'm sure we got somebody to vote on. So this guy just kind of pushed it over the edge for me.
So is there any further discussion? So hearing none, a vote yes will be to, for bringing him to choose or bringing him as our auditor. So call the roll. A no would be to continue. Did you have another question, Councilman Bowles?
Yes, sir, we're voting on the amendment, which was a substitution motion. Just want to make sure I'm correct.
Yes. And so we vote yes, and we will, I think I'm going to make us vote again, but we vote yes, and we will have, we will be considering bringing it.
Councilman Bowles? Councilwoman Viviano? No. Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Rolonax?
No.
Mayor Wolden?
No. So now, we're back to the main motion, which is lumping. Any further discussion of lumping?
I think Merrill's in meeting that. So that you have the most knowledge that you think
Okay, so any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Councilman Bowles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Viviano? Yes. Councilman Milliken?
No.
Councilman Rolonax?
Yes.
Mayor Wolden?
Yes. So that passes. And so, let's go on to the next item on the agenda, which is, the survey of the stormwater system for Bradford Avenue to Folly Road to Yorktown Canal. Mark will speak to that.
Yes, this is, the county conducting a survey, of the entire system from the headwaters on Bradford through Folly Road, behind the businesses there onto Yorktown and up to Yorktown at the drive itself, okay? Just that portion, which is all the headwater area. The concern is the innovations of some of the structures, maybe causing some blockages, and we're also concerned about the slopes, but some ditches. As soon as y'all approve it, it can be put on the books and get done quickly. So, which is what we want to do, so we can go ahead and plan our next steps, being how we're going to get that work more in the direction it needs to. This is the county's doing the work, but it's a joint city, SDOT county town project.
And question, so this is gonna help with all the Bradford Avenue
Yes.
area, all that College Corner type?
Well, just the portion of McCall's Corner that drains through to Folly Road.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've had lots of people contact me about.
Probably one in particular I can think of, but yes, that's.
All right, thank you.
All right, so is there a motion to pay?
So,
Okay, so I'll say, Councilman Miguel, motion and, second by, Councilman Miller. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, please, call the roll.
Councilman Bowles,
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough,
Yes.
Councilman Milliken,
yes.
Councilman Molina,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. So that passes. So now we go to committee reports. The first is the land use committee. Councilwoman McDonough.
I do not have a report at this time.
Thank you. Next is environmental beautification committee. Councilman Miller.
Yes, I do have some things to make, like as an announcement, just as a general announcement. They do relate to land use, things that are coming up. On Monday, July 20th, is the City of Charleston DRB meeting. This will be a virtual meeting via Zoom. They're going to take up the design of the new car wash in the City of Charleston on James Island that will be built for the new Publix on Valley Road. So that's going to be this Monday, July 20th. If you want to see a design of that now, it's shown on the DRB agenda packet online at the City of Charleston's website. You can find more info, how to give comments on that plan prior to the meeting. If you don't want to be able to make it to the meeting, you can make comments. So this is kind of important to us because a different developer is asked to put a car wash across the street from this city car wash in the town on the east side of Valley Road. So my next announcement is that the town's BZA will meet Tuesday, June 21st at 7 p.m. and take up an application for yet another car wash. That should be July 21st, I'm sorry. Take up an application for yet another car wash at Valley Road, but in the town on the other intersection, on the other side of the road. This agenda and information about the meeting is online, but the link is a little hard to find. It's on the homepage of the town's website, and I think there is a deadline to comment. Is that right, Ashley? Prior to the,
Yes,
okay. Maybe noon?
I believe it's noon the day of.
Okay, all right, so comments have to be in by July 21st by noon, so that the BZA can consider your comments. But those are the announcements related to things that are upcoming. Back to environment beautification committee stuff. We had a socially distant litter pickup on June 20th. It was a real foggy morning, and we really appreciate the help of the sheriff's department. I want to thank Sean, James for getting people out there, and also Deputy Carter for escalating some of the folks on Harvard Road, particularly by the bridge where it was really foggy. But we were able to we only had 9 volunteers show up, but we got 22 bags of litter. And if you weigh it out, that's probably about 330 pounds of trash we got off the road, which was good. We did approximately 5 miles. We did Harvard Road, Fort Johnson Road, and Hills Bluff Road, almost the entire. We didn't do all of Fort Johnson, but we did it. All right. So that was very good. Helping Hands was able to contract with a landscaper to service their clients. It's been hard to get volunteers during this period of time because a lot of our usual sources aren't meeting, like the Boy Scouts and church groups. So got they ended up paying a contractor to cut the lawns of people that needed them. So I think, yeah, that's all I have. That's all.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Councilman? Thank you. Let's go on to Children's Committee, the report, Public Safety Committee, Councilman.
I have no report.
I know, report from the History Committee, but we do have nominations, so to the History Council. So right now, we've had one person appointed for a new term. The current members serve until they're replaced. So anyway, any nominations? Any other council?
I have a nomination.
Yes.
I would like to nominate Susan Milligan for history.
Is this, okay, is there a second? Any, okay, all in favor, say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, please call the roll.
Councilman Bowles. Councilwoman Mignana.
Yes.
Councilman Rowland.
Yes.
Councilman Holloman.
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Okay, so, any other nominations? So I was hoping that, each member of council nominate, and, there were some applications in the last month's, packet, and I would ask that you all look at, consider them as possible
Do we
nominations, that you can nominate someone else too.
I thought we considered those applications. Did we not vote on those?
No.
Was, this is Lowell speaking, was that Inez Crouch was in the list of applicants?
Well, so I nominated, Inez Crouch, and so she was on the council, and Susan Milliken is now on the council. And we have two people who were on the council that bowed out. So the way, and I would treat it as those two people. Well, actually, we have a complete vacancy. We have two people who, one person was. Anyway, each member of council consider who they think is best. And we can, it's not a real rush, but we can get this. All right. So no, it's just I nominated Inez was on. Councilman Milliken is nominated. Susan Milliken, she's on. Each of you nominated. All right, next, the Rethink Quality Road Committee. We will be meeting. We're very happy to pull back. We'll be meeting again.
There's a staff meeting in July.
So do you take nominations for the Rethink Quality Road Committee as well? From council?
No. So, the Rethink Quality Road Committee is not really a committee.
Okay.
So we don't really fill positions of that committee.
So how can you participate?
Well, all the meetings are public.
Right.
People can come to all the
And if they sit at the table, they're a member of the
meetings.
committee, is that how it
No,
works?
the other committees, the members of the committee were appointed by, the elected officials who are on the committee. So right now, the elected officials of the committee are myself, Councilwoman Jackson, Council, City Councilwoman Jackson, City Council, County Councilwoman Johnson, County Councilwoman City of Palm Beach, Councilwoman. And so, and then they appointed representatives out of volunteers. Each municipality appointed one person.
Is there an information resource for that, like on the town website that has a list of the numbers so that people know who to contact with respect to issues on this?
So the, currently, the website is on the ECD COG website. And however, one of the tasks of the tool group is developing the website.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Are you suggesting, are you wanting to think about maybe something like maybe a link on our town website that goes to that? That would be easier so that, is that something that we can consider? Have a link on our town that, it takes them so they're not disturbed so far?
I think that it would be desirable to have a link on our website. And have, we're actually, I have high hopes for the new website. We'll have an improved one.
I just think the more information we get out to our citizens, the better, and the more likely they would be to participate in government and so forth.
Yes.
But right now, it's a little bit of a leap.
All right, and I do want to respond, on the subject. I don't believe that the Rethink Hollywood steering committee is dominated by development. I think that evaluation. Anyway, next, the drainage committee, Councilman Lawrence.
Just wanted to announce that we will be having our next quarterly meeting on the 12th of August. I'll give everybody event. Okay, and so we can welcome to attend that.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Councilman Lawrence? Hearing none. Let's go to the business development committee, Councilman Bowles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are continuing to work on the directory. I talked actually earlier today about launching incentives to the folks on the committee, and it sounds like most everybody's in favor for the time being of going with an online directory. It can be very cost effective as well as it's really easy to access. So as a report, we're continuing to finalize the James Island business directory. Still not meeting again, just conducting those for correspondence, email, and telephone. That's all. That's
Right, thank you. Any questions for Councilman Bowles? Hearing none. Appreciate that. So, tree advisory committee, Councilman Miller.
Yes, I do have a nomination for the Tree Advisory Committee, or Tree Advisory Council, I'm sorry. And it's Robin Harden.
second.
Councilman Mullinax, each to that, Councilman Bowles. Okay, I guess we should call the roll.
Councilman Bowles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mignano?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Ballmer?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. Next, we have the James Island Intergovernmental Council meeting. And so, we have a meeting coming up next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, it will be virtual, with that agenda, and the meeting instructions will probably be sent out tomorrow, and it will be at 7 o'clock next Wednesday.
And will that be a live meeting or is that
Virtual meeting,
a virtual meeting? Okay. And that's Wednesday?
Wednesday, the 22nd, 7 p.m.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that we were going to actually have our Wambach drainage study revealed at this meeting. That Matt Pump was going to present that. So I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty exciting. Is there any way for us to get a copy of that in advance of the meeting? Like, will it be with the agenda maybe?
Everyone is supposed to send me or us, the materials, so I can make sure to, screen share them, so I can.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Right, so, next we have, we go to emergency ordinance 3, 2020, emergency ordinance pertaining to electronic meetings, which is expiring tomorrow.
I'd like
Today.
I'd like to make a motion that we extend this to 8/21.
Second,
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I was really kind of surprised that we had this meeting live tonight, given our numbers here in Charleston. I think we're still number 4 in the world with COVID cases, and that's not a really great place to be. And I worry about myself as well as my colleagues and everybody here, citizens, exposing them to unnecessarily perhaps infection. So if we can adhere to the Zoom meetings, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm not in a good condition to be catching this disease, and I don't want anybody else to. And if I've already caught it, I certainly don't want to share it with anyone. So I would just put in a special request, whatever it takes, to make our meetings remote. If we could do that in the future, I think it's the best move we can make. I'm very concerned about this. We don't have a vaccine, and it's not over until we do.
Okay, well, thank you. I would like to move to amend this ordinance. I would like to strike section A. Under section 4, part A, the ordinance does not apply to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Is there a second?
I'm sorry, what are you doing there?
So section 4 of the emergency ordinance, it says, section A is this ordinance does not apply to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm moving to strike that. Is there any discussion? Okay, please call. I would like to speak to it. The Board of Zoning Appeals has met in 6 months, and members of the Board of Zoning Appeals have requested, as Councilman Milliken has, that they meet electronically and not meet in person. And they definitely need to meet, and I think we can make arrangements to make it work.
So the people that have comments, they can still be sworn in and perhaps even offer their testimony remotely. Is that a possibility?
I think the plan now is for comments beforehand are possible, and also comments where live.
Right.
Just for the present moment. So a lot of people opportunity. Whichever they can find.
And we're still working on electronic. I guess you were at our last meeting where we had a failure.
Yeah, I would say that
meeting.
that's no understanding.
Anyway, would you call roll? This is going to strike the section about the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Councilman Bowles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mignano?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Molinax?
Yes.
Mayor Wolsey?
Yes. And there's a small housekeeping matter I would like to add to the list of the councils and committees that the ordinance includes, to add the Board of Zoning Appeals. Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Councilman Bowles? Councilwoman Mignano?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Hey, yes.
Councilman Molinax?
Yes.
Mayor Wolsey?
Yes. And so we're now back to the main motion. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, so now we will pass the emergency ordinance as amended to expire on August 1st.
We can do a safety and say the 27th.
Oh, well, if there's no objection, we'll make it 22nd.
Can we make it the 22nd? Because it was a little iffy today with respect to the 16th. Does that include the 16th? You know, that kind of thing. So I think if we overlap, the council is going to be okay.
All right, if there's no further discussion, let's bring this to a vote. Would you please call the roll?
Councilman Bowles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mignano?
Yes.
Councilman Milliken?
Yes.
Councilman Molinax?
Yes.
Mayor Wolsey?
Yes. All right, so that passes. So now we go to ordinances for second and final reading. The next ordinance is ordinance 2020-07. This is ordinance approving agreement of cost share with the James Island PSD. Is there, yes?
This is also, can I still make a motion to amend at that time later?
I think we need a motion to approve. I move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Bowles, now in order to amend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we amend this, just to remove the administrative fee, the 1%. Fee.
So there's I put before you a document with that amendment, striking two sections that refer to administrative fee. Is there a second?
A second.
Councilman Mullinex seconds the discussion of that amendment. Well, I would speak a little bit to it. So this was a proposal of Councilman Bowles, and it just so happened the day after our meeting, there was a meeting about stormwater in the fire station. And I saw the fire chief, the acting administrator, and asked if they would be open to modifying or removing the administrative fee, and he said yes. And so our lawyers from Oakland, and also the PSDO lawyers, have determined the best approach would be a waiver of the fee, and they are prepared with their resolution to move forward with that at the end of this month. So if we do this without the fee, it should be smooth.
So the ordinance, I asked Ashley if I could get a copy of the ordinance with the proper language in it. And it seems to have been already removed. Is this what we're talking about here with the amendment?
Right, so this is this would be, Councilman Bowles, then
Okay.
if it passes, then we would board, but this not. So the amendment is strike those that was struck here. All right, any further discussion? So, yes, would be to take the parts that are going to strike, stricken out on this document, and then we'll vote from the amended document. So, yes.
Councilman Bowles,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vivian. Yes. Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Mullinex.
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes, and so now we would be voting on the amendment as, on the ordinance as amended to authorize the next year's cost share. And tax rate.
Okay, just to be clear, Councilman Bowles took out Part B on the fee, but there's another area that has been struck on the form under C on the first page.
Right, that refers to the,
Administrative fee
yes.
as well, so that's also struck. Okay, all right, very good. I'm just making sure that we got it struck. That's good.
All right, so if there's no further discussion, let's go ahead and vote on the ordinance.
Councilman Bowles,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vivian. Excuse me, yes. Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Mullinex.
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. All right, so that passes. So now we go to ordinance 2020-08, an ordinance to establish fees for the building. Would you like to speak to that? What is our second reading? So is your motion favorable?
So moved.
Second. I would like to propose an amendment to add that the fees for civic institutional nonprofits may be waived. Is there a second? So, the intention here is that there may be some groups who will waive the fee. All right, if there's any discussion of that amendment, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilman Bowles,
Yes. Yes.
Councilwoman Vivian. Yes. Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Mullinex.
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. And so now is there any further discussion of the ordinance? Jason, please call the roll. That's the ordinance as amended.
Councilman Bowles, Councilwoman Deanna,
Yes.
Councilman Milliken,
Yes.
Councilman Ballmer,
Yes.
Mayor Mosley.
Yes. Okay, so, next we will go to, ordinance 2020-09, this ordinance to establish stormwater fees. Is there a motion to pay?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Bowles. Councilwoman Deanna,
Yes.
Councilman Milliken.
Yes.
Councilman Ballmer,
Yes.
Mayor Mosley.
Yes. Okay, so, now we're going to ordinance, it's up for first reading, this is ordinance 2020-10 for electronic meetings. I move that we adopt this ordinance, is there a second?
Second.
So the purpose of this ordinance is that, when the town is under an emergency, we can have electronic meetings, and we won't be passing emergency ordinances meeting by meeting. Or for 60 days.
So what constitutes, a state of emergency in the town? Is it something that you call, or is
It
it
is.
the governor?
It would be the, there's a list of possible states of emergency under the emergency powers of the mayor.
Right.
So this would be,
And this would be the same that are kind of enumerated in our emergency manual? So you would first make a mayoral decree of emergency and then ask us to kick in?
yes, along with other possible powers and authorities.
Right.
It's just, it would be more like, so, when we have a hurricane emergency, if we were under particularly extended evacuation, we could have electronic meeting, if we were all separate, it was not practical for us to have an emergency. That's, I'm hoping that we don't have,
Oh, yeah.
pandemics
I agree.
frequently. And it would be more normal, emergencies that is within, I don't think we should have electronic meetings under normal circumstances be avoided. But probably the most situation where most of this could be used would be, when we're under evacuation, or particularly extended evacuation. So not so much evacuation for the hurricane to come, the hurricane comes, things are wrapped, can't come back. So we're away for an extended period of time. It would be good to be able to have electronic meetings.
So right now, this would not supplant E03-2020 that just passed.
Not until we have second reading for sure.
Right.
But I do think that, if we have second reading of it in August, and we're still under this pandemic emergency, which we are under a state of emergency in the town since March, then we would go under, and you wouldn't have to continue to pass the emergency ordinance. You would enter a regular ordinance.
So is there any language about lifting the state of emergency?
States of emergency are lifted when the emergency conditions.
Right. Not like, no.
If, it might be useful to revisit our ordinance regarding emergencies. But just generally, this just, in my view, the purpose of this is not, it's really not a authorizing electronic meetings generally, which may not be a bad idea. But the purpose of this is only to declare state of emergency.
All right.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, would you please call the
Councilman
roll?
Bowles. Councilwoman Deanna,
Yes.
Councilman Milliken,
Yes.
Councilman Ballmer,
Yes.
Mayor Mosley.
Yes. All right, so is there any new business? Hearing none, it's time for announcements and closing comments. Councilman Bowles, do you have any announcements or closing comments?
Yes, sir, thank you, have a stay healthy and safe.
Thank you, you too. Councilwoman Vignana? Councilman Milliken?
Other recipients.
Councilman Lennox? Well, I do have a short announcement, and I realize that, we must continue to take the pandemic seriously. The EHEC figures to me suggest that about 6.5% of the people on James Island are affected at this time. But I do, report in the last week, the numbers have stabilized. Instead of growing by leaps and bounds as they were in July, the number of affected people has been stable for about a week, and hope that continues. But I think all of us need to continue the social distance. So far, our in-person meetings, I feel, have been quite safe, largely because few people attend and we're able to stay separated in our very large group. I think it would be very risky to have the traditional way we used to be, all of us are lined up right next to each other, and sometimes this room is entirely full. However, while electronic meetings are imperfect in many ways, they are necessary. Thank you. Thank you. So, there being no further business, meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was with them.
I was surprised, could you guys hear well?
I came out at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, you're.
I told them to call, when the parking lot, I was looking for 7 o'clock. So I said, I thought I'd go walk everyone in that door. I didn't do that. So, triple results. Yeah, I saw it.
I saw that.
All right. Thank you very much. You too.